So I wanted to kind of come on here and talk about how to make money, but not just any kind of money, big money, six figures in the next 6 months. Now, when it comes to any endeavor, there's obviously a lot of education that's involved with that and things like that too. So I understand that it's just not always like, okay, let's just make the money, but also the hows and the whats and what do you do to really get there and all of that. So that is what I'm going to be covering today is the hows and what to do to get there. So I'm just pulling up my notes here to make sure that we stay on track and all of that. But let's talk about how to make six figures in 6 months. The biggest thing is when it comes to real estate investing, there are a lot of different strategies on what you can do. There's wholesaling, buy and hold, and fix or flip. Now, wholesaling is going to be what we talk about today. But if you do fix and flip, it could take longer than 6 weeks. It's not or 6 months. It's not a guarantee that any deal is going to close. And even then, would you even make that six-figure mark? With rentals, it's a slow ascent to monthly income to passive income. So unless you have a really big budget to where you could buy a lot of properties that could start cash flowing, even then, 100K cash flow, that is a lot of properties. And that kind of portfolio size would not happen probably within 6 months on the residential side. So let's talk about the one that will. That is wholesaling. And wholesaling is basically an A to B, B to C transaction where you are going to be timing the transaction and either double closing or an assignment of contract with a seller and an end buyer, and you are kind of that middle person. So one of the things that I tell people all the time, it's not the easiest strategy. Honestly, none of it's easy in real estate, but that is definitely not the easiest one. But it is the low risk where you could still make really good profits without a lot of liability, like fix and flip and rentals. And it doesn't require money up front. You can use other types of transactional funding and buyer's funds and things like that. So it doesn't require a lot of money up front, which is really helpful. You learn all the strategies by wholesaling because when you run numbers, who are you running it for? Rehabbers and landlords. It provides quick returns because let's say you get a deal under contract within the first couple of weeks, you could close anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks out or sooner, depending on the property and your buyer. And so then you start cashing those checks. It's about anywhere, the average wholesale deal I'm seeing is about 10K, but I'm seeing my students averaging 20 to 30K a deal. So it really depends on the deal and like how good you get at negotiations. Understanding your market matters. If you're trying to wholesale in markets that are really like high property values and things like that, yes, you can make a lot of money, but also it's a lot harder of a market sometimes. And also, how many investors are in that area? How targeted are your lists when you're doing that, when you're reaching out to them? So, kind of understanding that process. And then also networking and finding out other wholesalers and wide range of real estate professionals and investors can really help you. But it's also just a very low risk strategy. Now, here's the thing, it takes some effort, especially if you do not have the funds, okay? Especially if you do not have the funds to invest in tools, invest in a team, and things like that. How long do I need? Like, how many hours a day? You could start with as little as an hour a day, but obviously the more time you have to dedicate to this business, because it's not a hobby, it's a business, the more time that you have to dedicate to this, you're going to go farther. So the very first thing you need to do when you're wholesaling is figuring out the location that you are going to invest in. I want at least 200,000 population. We'll go down to 100,000, but really 200,000 means there's a lot of more movement going on, a lot more to do business, but everybody is different. This is my recommendation. And then you set up the business entity, because if you're living in a state or you decide to do a city that's not local to you, meaning that it's out of state and things like that, then you want to open up a business entity there. Now, I'm not legal disclaimer, I'm not a CPA. I cannot legally give you tax advice. So as far as business entities and anything on that level, you do need to talk to somebody that is a CPA. But my recommendation is when I live in South Florida, like I do right now, I go out over there and I start investing in St. Louis, right? And when I started investing in St. Louis, I opened up a business in Missouri, a business entity there. And then I went into Florida and opened up a business entity here. Okay. So we have that all going on. Then you go into finding the cash buyers. Why do you do that first? Why, right? Everyone's like, why would you go find buyers first before you find sellers? You need to know what your buyers are buying, right? What are they buying? How much are they spending? Things on along that level. Just getting a general idea, because then you'll know, which is step number 4, to going and where to find the sellers and what to look for. What kind of homes are being bought in that area? Is this landing with anyone? I'm not seeing any comments except for a couple. So I just want to make sure, as you know, I rely on comments to see how you guys are doing. So let me know if this is landing before I move forward here. Let's see. Good morning, Wendy. Thank you. so you do that. You go out to the sellers and then you start marketing and calling them. Now, this is where everyone pauses. This is where every single person that has a fear pauses, is reaching out to sellers. And I just have to tell you what's going to happen if you don't talk to them, because deals aren't going to happen if you're not talking to sellers, right? You have to talk to sellers. You have to approach them and reach out to them. Unless you have the budget for inbound marketing or you co-wholesale and someone brings you the deal, you're working with sellers. And so marketing and cold calling them, that's the most direct way. And I do all tips. I think we just talked about this not too long ago. And so one of my recommendations here is that, right, is to reach out and go out there, watch the lives I've done on talking on sellers. I just did it like not too long ago. And so you could have these conversations and do really, really well. Then you'll enter negotiations and contracts with your seller. What does this mean? This means you're going to start negotiating a price, send out your contract, your purchase agreement, and you guys will fill that out. And you guys are now done with the first half of the transaction as far as like with the seller. You'll go in, you will get pictures and do your due diligence, and then you will market to your cash buyers. I see a comment here. Other programs have told me to get the property first and the buyers will come. Yes, legit. If it's what's in our pamphlet, okay, that we give out on Tuesdays, that PDF. What that is going out and just seeing what they're buying and talking to them first. Because why are you going to go out there and get a property, right? And they're not interested. No one's interested in it. I'll give you an example. I did a property in St. Louis, and I knew this was going to be hard. It wasn't my first deal, but I knew it was going to be hard because it was a single family in a neighborhood of multifamily. And so it took me 6 months to sell that property. Whereas all the multifamilies are off my deck in like a week. So they're like, they're off what I'm dealing with within a week. So it's kind of showing you the difference and understanding what your buyer's doing. So you go into step number 7, ask if they want to have that kind of conversation. And then they'll put it under contract, and then you will find out when you get in there if the seller lied to you or not. 9 times out of 10, the seller was not completely honest with everything that's wrong with their home. And so you do that, then you market to your cash buyers, you go under contract with your buyer, and then you head to closing and you cash that check. So that is wholesaling. The steps are simple. It's not the steps that are an issue. It's us that overcomplicates them. Those are the steps to wholesaling. Now, deals, they're not as simple as that, right? And that's where people get like lost and caught up on and things like that. They're not as simple as that, but the steps are. Where do I find deals? I still, even virtually, will drive for dollars if I'm in the city. And then I pull highly targeted lists. So I use like PropStream. Other people use Batch Leads, Lead Propeller, or whatever it's called. There's all these ones. I use PropStream. I use a highly targeted list and I start calling them. Okay, you could do evictions. There's a million ways, and I'll talk about how to figure out all these ways very soon. And then I utilize my CRM, which is my customer relationship management tool, and I put them all in there so I know where all my leads are at any given time, where they are in the process. Now, I use Podio, which was built out for me. I had it built out after I was well into the business. You could use Google Sheets until you're really good and you want to build out your own. Everyone has different tools that they say are the best tools that they recommend, but really the best tool is the tool that you can build and match your business. Okay. Facebook Marketplace is great for buyers, but you do have a lot of investors and things like that too. So I'm open for questions if you guys want to ask any questions on what I covered today. And while we do that, and before we pull our raffle, I am going to talk a little bit about our wholesaling workshop that's this Tuesday, the 21st at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's on Zoom. And I'm going to dive really deep into all these, but not just that. Where are the leads? Where are the buyers? And all of that. So my team is going to post a link here into the chat for you where you are able to come and spend a couple of hours with myself and Laura and do that. Now, here's the thing. I've been wholesaling for 8 years. I said 5 because I'm thinking 2015, but for 8 years, Laura's been doing it for 4 decades. So, we are going to be teaching you how to invest in real estate, but also we're active investors. So, we teach you the most up to date ways of pulling leads and also talking to them and finding the cash buyers. We'll talk about filling out contracts, what that entails, how to have a conversation with the seller, and all of that. So, if you are wanting to come, this is this Tuesday, we will be talking all of that. I'm still waiting for questions to come in, so feel free if you have any questions about wholesaling. I do not coach on rentals and flips. That is a Laura thing. So if you start asking questions about that, I will just tell you straight up I can't help you. Okay? But I can do off of my own experience. While we wait for those to come in though, I am going to pull up our raffle. So we did a really fun raffle this time. Hold on, I have two screens. So we did the You Are a Badass package. I'm pulling it up now so you guys could see it. And it was just fun. I wanted to do something different because I feel like we're always doing some of the same stuff and we're on along the same lines and it's all real estate related, which I get it. We're all here for real estate. But isn't this cute? Like I just wanted to do something different. So it comes with a bunch of like You Are a Badass by Jen Cicero content and things like that, where you get to see it's just different things, reminders, deluxe organizational thing. The calendar, I actually had that on my desk, and so the winner gets to have that this week. Super excited about that. Want to do something different, something more a little mindset related. So our winner, you just have to email in. How do you get entered into it? So you get entered into our raffles by being a part of our Facebook group and just commenting. And then we just take the top 3 commenters of the week and just give them a reward just for helping out. We spin the wheel and the person that gets called gets it. Why do we do this? Because we want to give back to the community that's giving to our community. So we give back via raffles and stuff like that. So that as a thank you for contributing. If you are not part of our Facebook group, just go to Real Estate Investing Women and look up the group Real Estate Investing Women, and you will be able to just fill out the questions, enter the group, and start commenting and stuff like that. Plus, I give a lot of content out in there that I don't do publicly, so there's that as well. And that's just for our community. Anyway, this winter, you have 1 week. So as soon as I go live next week, this will no longer be able to be claimed. This winner is Adrian Mitchell. So Adrian, congratulations. You are our winner. Okay. All right. It is very different, but I just wanted something for fun. You know, we do it every once in a while. Okay. All right, ladies. Well, I'm not seeing any questions come in and all of that, but I do hope that this was helpful today. I give a lot of tips during our workshops, but also throughout the week in the Facebook group and on Instagram and all that. And YouTube is coming up with its own set of videos that are going to be coming out here soon. So, but wholesaling, you go out there, you talk to sellers, you put it under contract, you flip it for a profit, try to get like 20 to 30K if you can, average is 10, and you go to closing. And that is honestly, if you do even 10 of those deals at 10K in 6 months, you have 100K. If you do 5 of those deals at 20K, you have 100K, which is basically one deal per month. It is doable. It is 100% doable. It's just are you in your own way from making that happen? Or 2, just really understanding and getting out there and just doing it. So it comes down to fears that people don't do it or they don't have proper mentorship. So they're not getting their questions answered when they need to, things like that. But you have to figure that out. But wholesaling, it was a build up, but they did it and it's possible for you. So I hope that today was helpful. It is storming outside, so it's very like dark in this room if you can't tell. But I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'm not seeing any questions, so I'm going to assume we don't have any, and I'm going to hop off here. But let me know what you think. If wholesaling is the way to go, if some of you are wholesaling, how's it working out for you? And I would love your biggest takeaway. But let's go out there, let's do deals. Things have not slowed down. They are just as crazy as ever. I do this completely from this beautiful office or wherever I'm traveling. And all I tell people is all you need is a laptop, some internet, and you are good to go. You could even do this off your phone. It's just a little harder off your phone, but I've